All right, Larry Mack here, and we're talking with singer Don Dokken. Don, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day to hang out with us
You,
here at
brother.
Keystone. And so your weather's probably somewhat. Are you in Albuquerque?
Yeah, Santa Fe.
Oh, beautiful country over there.
It is pretty. We still have our house in LA and up in the canyons, but with all the COVID, and it's very low in New Mexico. Like we only got 2 million people in the state, and we've got like 100 cases. So
Oh, wow.
nothing, 200 maybe, as
Well,
opposed to New York getting 10,000 a day.
and
So
Arizona's kind of a hot spot right now itself, so we're all
man, what happened to
hiding.
Arizona? Man, they got nailed.
It's they opened up everything, and everybody thought it was 1999. Let's party, and
Yep.
it
And
got crazy.
our governor said, which I was kind of pissed because I'm like, come on, we got like 50 cases, She shut everything down and that she was just proactive. And the only problem we're having up here is the Navajo Nation have an
Yeah,
outbreak.
which we all share that. They're
We
on
all
our.
share that because they go into Arizona. But I'm up here in the mountains, literally a mile from the nearest public road.
Oh, wow. So you're
I
you're
live on
safe.
I live on 13 acres with my 4 dogs and very, very high up in a mountain. For the interview, I'll turn my computer around and show you a peek out my window in my studio, and all you can see is mountains and desert and trees and
Oh,
forests, and that's where I'm at, and that's where it's safe and no neighbors. And so I got my studio here, and I'm just making records and staying away from everybody. Except it is dangerous. I am a little nervous when I go and do shows.
oh,
You got to go to 3 airports to get there, and you got to get to the hotel and the van guy, and it's a little sketchy. Not
it is.
catching us.
It's a scary time right now, and what I'm thinking though is a lot of the musicians, all very creative. I'm sure some of the music we're going to get out of this. Um, I can't wait to hear a lot of it.
I have to say, there's so much to write about. I'd written about half the studio record, like 8 months ago before I had my surgery. And unfortunately, that all went south. And I didn't expect to be crippled, and have a paralyzed hand, which you can
Ooh.
see that's it. It doesn't move.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah, I had a surgery on my spine, and the son of a bitch paralyzed my right arm.
Oh, I'm
So
so
it's been
sorry.
8 months, and that's about all I can do. That's about it.
Oh,
So I'm hoping that God will show up and give me back my hand so I can play guitar someday. But if I can't, I played for 50 years, I will accept it. I always try to think of people like the drummer in Def Leppard lost an arm and he went back and played drums. And so if I can't play guitar anymore and write songs, I'll be a singer, I'll just be a singer now. So that's been a hard time, but the COVID kind of helped me because I've been doing physical therapy every week. But it's been a bitch and I can't write. So I'm just up here hanging out, and I'm realizing though, the world between the election coming up, the social protesting, the Black Lives Matter, what happened with George Floyd, the gangbangers and the hoods and the crooks that don't give a damn about George Floyd. They just want to go into town and smash windows and grab a flat screen. Those people piss me off, because they don't care. They're just thugs. And it's just been a really crazy year, And
2020.
I call this the apocalyptic year, but it has given me a lot of inspiration to write lyrics about the state of the world.
Oh, great. Well, I hope to hear a new record, some of your new songs when you get a pen to paper and onto a vinyl. Well, I guess not
We're
vinyl, but
halfway done
onto tape or
already.
whatever.
Yeah, we're halfway done with the studio album when this all hit. And then just by accident, I was home and I bought this old 64 Stingray convertible, because I've always been into Stingrays, and it's an old Stingray, but I couldn't put it in the garage. It wouldn't fit. So I had to clean out the garage after 35 years, which was a big job. And here we are cleaning out the garage. I threw 90% of it away, old equipment, flight cases, stage clothes, junk. And at the end, I find this plastic tub, open it up, and I see all these analog tapes.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, analog tapes? I haven't recorded on analog tape in 25 years. It's all digital, man. It's
Uh-huh.
Pro Tools. And I took out the tapes and I said, what the hell's this all about? It was way in the back up above the washer and dryer.
Uh-huh.
And I pull out the track sheet and it says, Michael Wagner, 1979, Dokken demos. Then the next tape said, Don Dokken, 1978, Media Art Studios, Redondo Beach, Win Davis, engineer. And I'm like, what is this stuff? So I put them up on a machine. In fact, it's pretty hard to find a machine these days. And I baked the tapes. You have to bake them because after those many years, the tapes stick together.
Mm-hmm.
And there was 9 songs. 7 of them wouldn't play. They just were done. They were just trashed. And I saved 5.
Oh, wow.
So, and then the other 5 I had, and that's how we came up with the Lost Songs album.
So it's tunes from 78 through 1981?
Yep, right before George, Jeff, and Mick joined the band.
You know, it was interesting. You were one of my introductions to rock as a kid. When my parents finally got cable and MTV came on, one of the first videos I saw was Breaking the Chains.
Yep.
And got me into rock and roll, and been a big fan ever since. I've seen you countless amount of times. And it's a pleasure to actually talk to you after all these years of seeing you on stage. What was it like to find these and hear them? Did it bring you back in time?
Yeah, I mean, some of the songs, honestly, I was like, I don't remember this song. You know, I was kind of like, I kind of remember it. Maybe it's not my song, but I could tell by my voice it was me. And I could tell by the guitar playing it was me and my solo. And I'm like, but it was kind of like foggy. And I ended up actually calling Juan Crucier, who ended up going with Rat, but he did my first tour in Germany in 79. And it was Juan Crucier, myself, and a drummer named Greg Pecca. We were a 3-piece, went to Germany. And I called Juan and I said, I'm playing on these songs over the phone going, do you remember this stuff? And he goes, yeah, man, we went into Michael's studio at 3 o'clock in the morning and cut those. And I'm like, I kind of remember, you know? And he says, yeah, we cut those songs, you know, at Michael's studio. It was across from this club we were playing, and we cut them in the middle of the night. And I went, oh, okay. So that was that, you know?
So were any of these actually released, like maybe on a local imprint or something like that? Or were they just recording for you to shop demos to labels at the time?
There were 5 songs, I think 5 or maybe 6, that were recorded at this studio in Hamburg called Tennessee Ton Studios. And the day we were leaving, the tape went MIA. They gave us a cassette of it. Here's a cassette of your music. I'm like, where's the tape? We don't know. They stole the tape. So I let it go. I'm like, hey, big deal. It's demos. I'll do them over. So here you fast forward 4 years, and we've got a platinum record. And now we're getting famous. And now we're playing arenas. And everybody knows who Dokken is. And that studio took those songs and put them out as a bootleg called Back on the Streets with some different picture, and it said George and Mick. It was all wrong. They weren't even in the band. And they put it out, and I said, you know, maybe I should sue them and tell them to stop. And everybody said, it's not worth it, Donnie. You spent $100,000 on a lawsuit. Nobody's going to buy this record. It's just demos. It might sell 10,000 copies. So, you know, 20 years later, I find out when I'm doing my SoundScan publishing that the guy made $1 million.
Seriously?
Yeah, he made $1 million. $15 a pop. He sold 120,000 copies. That pissed me off.
Oh, I don't blame you. Yeah.
So I talking to my guitar player, John Levin, who's been in the band 20 years. He's also an attorney. And he said, dude, you own these songs. These are your songs. You own them. Tell them to either give you your $100,000 and $200,000 in publishing and royalties, or take them and use them. You own these songs. So I took those songs back, and I found the other songs on these tapes, and that's how I came up with the Lost Songs album.
So a lot of the recordings on this is Mick. The other guys that people know as Dokken. Are they on any of these songs, or is it all pre?
No, all pre. No Mick, no George, no Jeff.
So this is the early days of you.
I'm talking about before I had a band.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I'm playing guitar, I'm playing the solos, I'm playing the bass. The first 2 singles I cut in 77, I cut in a studio with a guy produced me. His name was Drake Levin. He was in a famous band in the 60s called Parver and the Raiders. And he took me in the studio and he hired Bill Lorden, who was in Robin Trower,
Mm-hmm.
and Rusty Allen, who was the bass player in Robin Trower. And he hired them as session cats to come in and play my backing tracks, and I did all the rest.
Oh, that's fantastic.
That's how long ago it was.
And it still had to be mind blown that you even had this in a tub in your garage.
Bizarre. I mean, it's just gone. Dude, I was on the verge of taking it and throwing it in the truck.
Oh, that close?
Oh, yeah. Actually, I think I threw away a lot of stuff I shouldn't have, but oh well.
So you have it now. It comes out, I believe, on the 28th of August?
Yes, sir.
So it's going to be out in stores. Will it be on iTunes and all the other different?
iTunes, Amazon, downloads. I'm not really sure. Our record company, Silver Lining Records, is putting it out. It was like an accident. We were talking about the studio album,
Mm-hmm.
and I wanted it out for this summer because we had these 40 shows booked.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm cramming, trying to get the studio album done. And then I end up having this surgery and my hand's paralyzed. So now I can't play guitar anymore. And now I can't write songs. I'm screwed, you know? So I had to go, I had no choice. My hands doesn't work. So we just stopped the record. And when I found these lost songs, I said, well, this might be cool to put out for the summer. Since we're not touring, we can't finish the studio album. We're only 6 songs away. We already had 7. And this might be a good way to just keep Dokken out there in the public. And my record company, Silverline, thought it'd be a cool trip down memory lane of the early days of my career.
It's kind of cool. I've listened to a few of the songs off the album, and it's kind of cool to hear the differences in an artist right before they get picked up by a major label and all the glitz that goes along with that stuff. It's like hearing you raw.
It was very raw because there was no record company telling me what to do. The chorus has to come in at 1 minute, 20 seconds. The song can't be longer than 3 minutes, 50 seconds. There were no rules. I mean, one of the songs is kind of funny. It's there's 2 live songs on the record, and one song is called Liar, and or maybe it's Prisoner. I can't remember. But my solo goes on forever. It's a live recording, and I'm playing my solo, and even I'm going, Jesus, Don, stop already. I mean, how long are you going to go on this? Because there were no rules. And I even told the label, I said, you want me to cut that solo? It goes on for like 2 minutes. They're like, nope, that's the way it is. That's where we're going to leave it. So you'll hear me in a live version of me playing in Hamburg, Germany with Juan Crucier on bass and vocals. And I just went on, on and on and on. But, in the 70s, Allman Brothers and all those bands have those really long solos,
Mm-hmm.
like Whipping Post.
Oh,
and that
yeah.
solo goes on for 2 minutes.
So, Don, real quick, this album's going to be out, like I said, on August 28th. Once you're able to go tour again, are you planning on incorporating any of these songs in your set list?
I wish I could lie and say, yeah, we're going to play them. Probably not.
Okay. No, that makes sense.
Because
Fair.
We've done 13, 14 records. There's many, many, many songs I wish we could do, during our live set.
Mm-hmm.
But we don't play 3 hours,
Yeah.
Metallica has the luxury of doing a 3-hour show. We don't, So there's songs I'd like to play off Erase the Slate and off of Dysfunctional and off of Lightning Strikes Again and a song off Broken Bones. And, it's not just the 80s, the quote unquote Breaking the Chains, Tooth and Nail, Under Lock and Key, Back the Attack. I've done another 7 albums since then.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of great songs on those albums I'd love to play, but you only got an hour, 20-minute set, and you have to pick, and I understand the fans want to hear the hits, and that takes up most of the show. And
then you get to pick I guess, how do you pick those other songs besides the ones the audience expects?
We pick the deep tracks that we really love playing. There's a song we wrote called Baddest Hatter that when Rhett Beach was in the band, it's really a killer song. We do a song called Too High to Fly, which we did on the Dysfunctional album on Columbia. It's very bluesy, very Doorsy. We do that song live. We just keep pulling out, songs that might be not the quote-unquote MTV hits, but songs we love to play. We play this song called Don't Close Your Eyes. It's just a heavy, heavy, kick-ass song. So we do it, But I understand they want to hear the hits, and I have a memory of seeing Iron Maiden about 5 years ago at Universal Amphitheater, and they just put out a new record, and they only played the new record.
Mm-hmm.
That was it.
I saw that
And I
tour.
remember the fans being upset,
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of their show, they came back for an encore and did like a medley of their hits, like Run for the Hills and all that stuff. And I remember people going, we're here to see Iron Maiden, and we don't recognize any of these songs because they were brand new studio album. And I remember people not being happy about that. So I thought the same thing. If we just do all the songs we like and that weren't the MTV hits, people are going to be pissed. So there is nostalgia involved in a band like Dokken after all these years. And I understand that people might be in their 40s now or even their 50s that were listening to Into the Fire, In My Dreams, Alone Again, Breaking the Chains when they were in high school or college. So it's a memory. And you come to the concert to relive that moment in time when you heard Into the Fire for the first time on the radio, or the first time, like you said, you saw Breaking Chains on MTV. It is about nostalgia and about reliving those simpler times before we had house payments, kids, a wife, and all that stuff. So I get it. So, that is what it's about, nostalgia. And we throw in some new songs to try to turn the new fans onto some of our newer music.
Oh, great. Now, obviously with COVID, it's changed a lot of stuff as far as touring and all that. And it doesn't seem like anybody has an answer. Are you guys got any dates booked or is it kind of a wait and see thing like a lot of the other bands I've spoken to recently?
I'm leaving tomorrow morning from Milwaukee to do a show.
Oh, you are doing that. Okay. And then
the end of September, we're doing a show in Texas. And end of October, we're doing a show in Chicago. And we've already done 2 last month. They are social distancing shows where we play outdoor venues that hold maybe 5,000 people,
mm-hmm.
and they only let in 2,500, and they all have to be like 8 feet apart.
Oh, really? Okay.
They sit on the lawn. And yeah, sure, we went on stage, and the first 4 rows, there was people packed in, and they weren't wearing masks. And I was like, shit, but most of the people behave themselves. But we are doing some social distancing. They take your temperature before you go into the venue. They check your temperature. You have to wear a mask. They're being pretty proactive on these gigs.
Well, yeah, you would hope so. That's good. How do you, I've seen you, I know that you love as most musicians and most frontmen, you love the crowd interaction. And I've seen you and you really like to work the crowd. It must be interesting to try to work a crowd at a socially distanced event.
It was a little weird. We had a couple thousand people, and I'm looking out, and they're way back up there in the lawn.
Mm-hmm.
We only have 500 people in the front, and I don't know if people realize it, the fans, that when you go on stage, and the more enthusiastic the fans are, and the more of their fists in the air, and you see them singing your lyrics that I wrote, and I'm like, wow. It makes us play better.
It does?
It makes us perform better. We're not on autopilot, we don't just go up there and play. We're not some pop band. I'm not Britney Spears, I go out there, but I feed on the audience. So yes, it is tough when the audience is not right there in your face. And I'm trying to, keep my energy level up, and I'm pointing out way out in the field and say, you people over there, you people over there. And yeah, it's a little difficult.
Well, I'm sure that you're a showman, so you've got it. I'm sure you're figuring it out as you go along with these, hopefully temporary new normal we're all living through.
I mean, I can't imagine how Metallica is going to do a show for probably 10,000 people. They're all going to be sitting in a car.
Yeah, and they can't see them.
You can't see them.
Yeah,
you're going to play them to cars.
Yeah, because they're all across the country. So that.
It's pretty trippy.
Yeah, I have a buddy of mine. He's in a band, and he did a CD release party recently. And he's like you. He's very interactive with the crowd. And I watched it on TV. I streamed it, and I texted him afterwards. I go, "How was it?" He goes, "Very weird." He goes, I'm looking at the cameraman. That's all I was looking at, hoping
Yeah,
that I was connecting to somebody on the other side of the camera.
I've turned a couple, actually several shows down the last couple of months. They asked me if I would do a Zoom concert. There's a lot of them going on, bands playing from their house,
Hmm.
bands playing from a recording studio, and the cameras are filming them and they broadcast it. And I said, no, I don't think I'll feel it. And I
Yeah.
don't think it'll be, I won't be on top of my game. And I just don't see myself singing to a camera. It's not the same. It's a spiritual thing. It's a energy. It's the people's spiritual energy. And you feel it, when you're
Hmm.
having a good show, you're having a good show. When you're not having a good show, sometimes you can feel that too. And I've been asked to do a lot of these Zoom concerts, and
Hmm.
I just turned one down yesterday, and a lot of bands are doing it, but I said, no, I need people, man. I need an audience.
Well, you also know where you thrive,
Yeah.
so that explains a lot. So let's
I don't, I mean, I remember the only time I ever played in front of a camera, one of the few times, was we did American Bandstand
oh.
with Dick Clark. And I was very proud to do Dick Clark's American Bandstand because I had grown up when I was 10 years old listening to American Bandstand.
Hmm.
And I saw all the famous bands from David Bowie to whoever. Everybody was on American Bandstand, and I remember he invited us to be on American Bandstand with, oh my God, I can't remember her name now. Very famous black artist that's been around forever. And we were playing with her, which was really an odd thing, like Dokken and like she escapes me. Very famous black singer, been around forever. And we got to go and do Dick Clark, and we had to go on stage, and we had to lip sync, which was really hard to do. I'd never done that before, but it was packed full of people. And Dick came out and interviewed us and talked to us, and we were only supposed to do one song. And Gladys Knight, that's who was on the
Oh
show.
wow. Okay.
So Dokken and Gladys Knight. Now that's a pretty trippy package, right?
Oh, absolutely.
And I remember Dick saying, What are the best memories of your life?" And Mick said, "Meeting Gladys Knight backstage." And Dick got a big smile on his face. We went to commercial, and because that, Dick says, "You guys can go out and do another song."
Oh, that's awesome.
So we got to do two songs because
Oh
Mick's
wow.
comment.
Oh,
But
that's
things
great.
like that were really cool. But it's very difficult looking at a camera.
I can see Mick. I've met Mick a few times when I lived in Phoenix, and I would just run into him at various locations around town. Very nice guy. Last time I actually saw him was I I moved here 15 years ago, and so one of the last times I saw you in Phoenix was at a bar called Club Red.
I don't remember. We played another club a couple of times with a swimming pool in front of the stage.
Oh yeah, I'm trying to.
You know
That
that
was
club with the swimming pool in front of the stage?
yeah. I
That's a
remember.
very strange club.
I can't remember the name of it, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, they literally have a swimming pool. You can put about 50 people, and then there's a swimming pool, and everybody stands around the side. And of course, by the end of the show, everybody's jumping in the pool.
Was I think I
And
saw.
Mick's still there. Mick's still in Arizona.
Oh yeah, no, I hear. I have a buddy of mine, a guy who works for me actually, is friends with Mick, so I hear all about Mick's adventures. So,
And there are lots of adventures. Mick left the band about a year ago, and I remember being at the airport, and he was limping a little bit, dragging a suitcase, and he pulled me outside and he said, Don, I can't do this anymore. And I said, "Are you not happy with the band or whatever?" He goes, "No, I love playing drums, but I just can't physically do it anymore."
oh
He
wow.
goes, "My arms are shot, my knees are shot, I got two torn rotator cuffs." He goes, "I got arthritis, my feet." He goes, "You got to remember, I've been playing drums since I'm 10 years old. I've been playing for drums for 50 years, and I'm worn out, dude." And he says, "I'm like Neil Peart. Neil Peart ended Rush because he couldn't play anymore."
Wow.
Being a drummer, I've always said, is the hardest job in the band.
Oh, I can
I can
imagine.
stand there and just sing and stand there and play guitar and stand there. But the drummer is back there pounding it out, man, for an hour and a half. And Mick is a very hard hitter. He's very John Bonham. And he just said, I can't do it anymore, man. I'm just hurting too much. And I said, I respect that. And he went home and he retired. He sold his drums. And I think he just goes out once in a while and jams with bands for fun. And he's riding his Harley and
enjoying life
and enjoying Arizona and laying in the sun. And he's enjoying his life,
Well, I hope that, before we get to the next question, I want to talk about one more thing about your album. The song we've been playing is called Step Into the Light.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about the song? Do you remember the process with it, or is it one of those you're like, I don't even remember writing this?
I actually do remember that song. I can't remember the girl, but I remember I knew somebody, back in the day of our clique, and there was always this girl that she always seemed down and dark, and everything was negative, and she was depressed, and everything was negative. And it kind of sparked me to say, step into the light, you will find a way. That's what the song's about. You listen to the lyrics, it's about, look, life's not perfect. Nobody says when we're born, we're guaranteed a wonderful, happy life. You got to make it what you want to make it. Nobody says we're guaranteed this bitchin' awesome life. We'll have lots of money and big houses and everything's going to be great. And I used to tell her, you got to make your life what you want to make it. I said, you're a smart girl and you're pretty and you got a good job. I don't understand where every time I see you, you're just really down and depressed. And for somehow that sparked me to write Step Into the Light. What I was trying to say is get out of the darkness, try it.
Well, kind of great advice for the world right now.
You got that? And that was ironic because John said, oh, did you write this about COVID? And I said, no, actually, I wrote this song about Susie, that girl Susie. And I remember Susie, and she actually passed away, by accident. Right. And, and I just said she was always just very mopey. And there's always kinds of crazy things that inspire you. When I wrote Kiss of Death, all these little press things were coming out about there's this new disease that'll kill you, kind of like COVID. It's called AIDS. And I'm like, AIDS? What the hell's AIDS? And then we're on the road. And, of course, there was a lot of debauchery and a lot of girls on the bus. And we were misbehaving because we were all single, no wives, no kids, there's no secret what went on in the 80s.
Well, living life like a rock star.
I mean, go read Motley Crue's The Dirt, I mean, there was a lot of decadence and debauchery going on then. And I remember one night we were talking about this new thing called AIDS, and Mick said something really stupid. And he says, well, I'm not worried about catching it. I only sleep with good-looking chicks. I said, Mick, I don't think the virus is particular about attractive or unattractive.
Yeah.
But he said that, and it kind of made me laugh. And so we were talking about it on the road, and I came home and I wrote Kiss of Death. So there's always these weird inspirations, of what happened, because everybody said it's a gay disease and it doesn't affect women and it's not a heterosexual disease. And we all found out that's all bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I wrote The Kiss of Death. So it's like little things like that inspire you, just like Step Into the Light that I wrote about a girl that was always seemed to be in a dark place, Well,
it's a great song, and it's cool to hear it. What, 40 years? Is it 40 years later?
40 years later.
Man, time flies. Well, Don, thank you so much. Anything you want to hit?
I was just out of my diapers.
Oh, say that again?
I just got rid of my diapers.
You just got rid of your diapers? Yeah. I think I was just getting into my diapers. So, hey.
Okay.
No, I'm a lot older than that. So, anyway, let's talk about, again, just to recap everything. The new album is called Lost Songs, 1978-1981, out August 28th on all the platforms. And you're touring, and hopefully we'll get you in Arizona sometime.
Yeah, we got the three shows left in the next 2 months. One in Texas, one in Michigan, one in Wisconsin, and then that's it. We're going to go home because all the boys in my band feel we're pushing the envelope a little bit.
All right.
You
Safe.
know, because we're in airports, 2 stops, even though everybody's wearing a mask. You get in the van, you go to the hotel, you go to a restaurant. I mean, it's a little dangerous. I talked to a DJ earlier. He's just getting over COVID,
Oh, wow.
and his wife is a nurse, and she wore the full gear, plastic, the gloves, the mask. She's full blown nurse, wrapped up like saran wrap, and she caught it
Yep. I,
and
uh,
gave it to her husband. And I
I,
went, wait a minute, your wife was completely gloves, the whole suit, everything. He goes, yep,
oh,
she caught it, man. She worked in an old folks home and she caught it and she came home, gave it to me. And he goes, I'm still getting over it. I'm back on the air, but I don't feel so good. I feel terrible. I feel like I'm just beat down. And I said, well, now you're making me nervous because I got to get on a plane tomorrow.
well, I had a friend in Scottsdale. He was a DJ when they opened up Scottsdale. When they opened up Arizona, he got it and passed away 3 weeks later.
Three
Relatively good
weeks
shape.
later,
3 weeks after the state opened up, he caught it and was
oh, that
gone.
is horrible.
And he was only 40 years old, relatively good shape. I knew the guy 20 something years. And then a friend of mine in Maryland, she was doing everything, and she is on a ventilator right now. And we're all praying for her recovery because her and
Oh,
her 90-year-old
Jesus.
mom both got it. Her mom recovered.
I hate to hear those stories because that's the problem with the colleges. They're having these frat parties, they're shown
Mm,
on TV, and they're packed into a dorm room. They're having street parties because they think, hey, I'm 22 and I won't get it. It's an old people's disease. Not true.
no, no, I've been reading lots of stories about young people getting it, and I've got kids, so I'm afraid of them catching it because you never know.
Well,
So
but it's a mentality. I remember when I was, 22, 3, 4, actually when I was writing these songs, if I look back, I'm not proud of it, but I remember riding my Harley, 120 miles an hour down Pacific Coast Highway, just flat out, whipping in and out of cars. And I remember taking off at green lights and pulling wheelies with a girl in the back, and she'd be
hmm
punching me in the back of the head saying, don't do that. And, because for some reason when we're young, we feel invincible.
yep,
Nobody thinks about dying at 23 years old.
no,
And I was kind of like that. I raced cars. I was reckless. I rode my Harley. I partied. I did stupid things because it's a growing process. And I look back now when I ride, well, hopefully someday. My big thing is everybody goes, what is your best hope to get your hand back? I said, I just want to have my hand back enough so I can work the throttle on my Harley, get back on it. That's my only dream now is to be able to ride again. And I
oh,
just remember that, we were all like that. All my friends were like that. They were very reckless, and everybody thought, we're going to live forever and nothing can touch me. And it's not true. It's a growing process in your early 20s that you feel it's not going to happen to you. And now they're finding out that children can give it to their parents.
yep,
So it's all the cat's out of the bag, man. And
yep.
everybody needs to be careful. And I keep telling everybody I meet, even on stage, I say it. I say, listen to me. Dr. Fauci says if we all wear a mask, everybody, we could beat this in 3 months. And that's what Fauci says. If everybody wore a mask, in 3 months, we could knock this down by 80%.
hmm
But people are just not listening.
No, there's a little bit of in our society of me instead of us.
And the First Amendment, I don't have to wear a mask. Screw you, man. I'll do what I want. No, it's not about you, dude. It's about you giving it to somebody else.
Yeah, it's about your grandmother, your kid, or somebody at the store.
And like you
So
said, you got a 90-year-old that survived it.
yeah, and her daughter is on a ventilator, and they don't know if she's going to make it.
Well, that's a good story to tell your fans because, this is serious.
Mm-hmm.
This is very serious. I'm playing Texas in end of September, and Texas is the hot spot right now for COVID.
Ooh, be careful, Don.
Yeah, even my band members are going, "You sure you want to do this gig?" And I go, "We're going to be soup. I'm going to have bodyguards really surrounding me. I got
Yeah.
4 security guys we've hired. No one's allowed to talk to you, shake your hand, get within 10 feet of you. We got security all around us. We go from the airport to the hotel to the stage, back to the hotel, back to the airport, and
Oh,
that's it.
good. Well, good. Be careful. Well,
I want
Don,
to be here. I want to make a record."
yeah, definitely. We want to see you up on stage again here soon. I want this thing over with. So, Don, I'm going to wrap things up right now. Thanks a lot. And again, what's a website if people want to check out what's going on with Dokken?
Dokken.net. And people always say, "You mean Dokken.com?" I say, "No, Dokken.net," because we had Dokken.com for like, forever. And it expired like in the 90s. And 10 minutes later, somebody bought it
Oh,
for $20. And I called the guy, I said, "Can I have my Dokken.com back?" He goes, "Sure, give me $10,000. I go, "Oh, you son of a bitch."
oh,
So I said, "All
geez.
right, so it's Dokken.net it is," which is kind of an odd search engine. But Dokken.net, we got official Dokken.com, Facebook with our 500,000 followers, Twitter, Instagram, it's all there. Just type my name in, it's all there.
All right. I'm going to make sure I follow you and tell people about you. And I'm looking forward to hopefully seeing you in Tucson, Arizona. Probably looks like 2021, hopefully. And
Yeah, I love playing in Arizona because, every time I play Arizona, I used to ship my bike out to Arizona, and Mick and I would go riding, and go
oh,
out to
great.
all the little, the biker bars, and hit them
Hmm.
all. And Arizona is an amazing place to ride motorcycles.
Yes, it
And I
is.
wish I could remember the damn name of that club with the swimming pool. It's a pretty big club. And I always laugh, though, when we're staying on stage, I'm looking down, there's a swimming pool. So I just can't remember the name of it.
I'm trying to
But
think of
anyway,
it. I know what you're talking about. I just can't think of the name of it either.
it's like one of the biggest it's an outdoor show, biggest one in Phoenix. But,
How long ago did you play there?
a year.
Oh, could it have been hooked to one of the casinos?
Nope, it's just an
No.
independent bar club. They actually have a stage inside that Mick and I did an acoustic show inside the club, and Mick and I did an acoustic show, and then we did the full Dokken show on the outside, and it's of
I'll think of it probably when we're done. I'll go, aha.
course that's the way it always is, you
And when I
know.
figure it out, I'll send Doug an email to tell you what it was.
Yeah, you can Google it, and it's been there forever. And Mick's, he goes down there, and he has a band called the Bourbon Ballet,
Oh, cool.
and which is appropriate for Mick, because he likes his bourbon. And every couple of months, he goes to that club and he'll play a show with this little band he has called the Bourbon Ballet. And so he's having a good life, and he put his time in with Dokken, and we're just going forward. And I'll just keep playing until I can't play anymore.
Well, I'm looking forward to hearing the new record when you're done with it. And I've already heard this one, obviously, and we're playing some stuff off of the record. And we do an 80s show on Saturday night. We playing it on there as well. So we're definitely
Perfect.
exposing the record for you.
Then I'll do you a favor before our studio album comes out. I'll kick you down the single before everybody else gets it.
Oh, that'd be great. I'd love that.
I'm telling you, this new studio album, I am so proud of it. I don't know what happened. We had almost 4 years off since Broken the Bones, and we had all this leftover material in Broken Bones. We had all this music that I had written before I lost my hand, and we have all this material. We narrowed it down to the 6 best, and these songs kick ass.
I'm looking forward to hearing them. Absolutely. That's great. Sorry about your arm, Donna. Hopefully it
Yeah.
recovers.
I can only stay positive. They said 6 months, you'll be fine. Now it's going on 7, but you can tell, like, if you can see my hand, this is my
Mhm.
normal hand, and this is my,
Yeah, I can see
for
it.
some reason, the fingers, they just curl under. I can move them about that much, which really, so the biggest thing, I can't hold a pick. I'm
Oh,
trying to hope to get these fingers back where I can hold a pick and at least play a little bit of guitar. But like I said, I drew the short end of I drew the short straw. So it's the way it goes, and it happens in life. And I'm just dealing with it. I guess I'm going to be a lefty.
Well, you deal with it and you move forward.
You got to move forward in life, man. There's many people that had much worse things happen than what happens to me. Like I said, the drummer in Def Leppard, he lost his arm, man, and he went out and did 3 world tours. And you conquer any adversity if you have the spiritual mindset to beat it.
Mm-hmm. Which I'm sure you have, and you're working on that.
I am.
Well, Don, thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, definitely check out the new album. It's called Lost Songs, 1978 to 1981, available everywhere on August 28th. And of course, check out Dokken.net and look for Dokken on all your social media as well.
Yes, sir.